What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It is Monday. It's your boy Aaron. I hope you all had an amazing weekend, guys. I hope some of you got out there and touched some grass. I know I certainly did, because it has been obviously a painful couple of weeks in the crypto market. Do not forget, this is the only channel that does a daily video on all things DeFi and AI agents on YouTube. And let's get into it, guys. So what do we have here? So today, actually, we've seen the last 24 hours some really positive price action for some of the largest open source frameworks. So AIXBT here is up 10% in the last 24 hours, which is a big move considering the size of it. Also Venice here, which is also the Epic project, which was made by Eric Voorhees, is up by 7.3% here and is now getting close to $200 million market cap. So the question is, has that bottomed? We know the airdrop is still taking place until the middle of March. And we've also seen ARC, which is another open source framework, also up 6.4% over the last 24 hours. So there is some positivity today, guys. It is Monday. This could obviously still turn bad. However, we have to take the green while we have it. If we look at the last 7 days, there is some real success stories here, because the last 7 days has been hell in the markets. It's been absolute hell. However, Venice token is up 150%. Eurobro is up 150% also. And Banker coin has done very well. Wisp is also up 100%. I've seen that on my timeline quite a lot recently. It's still very low market cap. Vader as well, which, does a lot of great research, is also up 51% here. So there are reasons to be positive, guys. Have we seen the bottom in AI agents? I'm not sure, but that's only because of the macro. I think this morning Trump again announced more tariffs on the likes of aluminium and other metals, which will have an impact, because they are going to then be most likely retaliated by the countries that he puts those tariffs on. So the macro is really messing up the markets right now, guys. But there are still projects performing well, which is good to see. If we jump over to DeFi, over the last 24 hours, there's also some winners here. None of the major projects, you would say. But again, if you look at the last 7 days, Wisp is there. Snai has been getting some incredible mindshare, guys, over the last week or so. There's so many people on Twitter. They've got a big army of community, which does make me quite bullish on the project here. Is still up over 100% this week. It's not as bullish as the AI agent space so far in the last 7 days, but still, there's still some projects here that have done well over the last 7 days. So look, guys, there's still plenty of opportunities in the markets. There's still plenty of projects that are massively undervalued. So we'll be covering some of those on this channel once again. And yeah, let's jump into the news, guys. Let's go. Okay, so the first bit of news I wanted to touch upon this fine Monday morning is the fact that Aiccelerate DAO have just announced its roadmap for 2025. Now, this includes 4 verticals, including build, accelerator, tokenomics, and partnerships. And before we get into that, let's actually look at Aiccelerate DAO and get into the weeds of what is this project and why on earth should we care about this. Okay, guys, so jumping over to the Aiccelerate DAO website, as you can see, they call themselves an investment and development DAO focused on the crypto AI sector. Their members stem from top open source AI projects, including Coinbase, Google, and major funds. So their goal is twofold: to accelerate the development of decentralized open source AI and invest in the most promising projects across multiple ecosystems. And actually, you can see here some of the members of the DAO are from, some of the great projects that they mentioned: Virtuals, AI16Z, some major funds like Mechanism Capital, Delphi Digital, Story Protocol, which is getting a lot of mindshare these days. And actually, if you look at the core team here, you might recognize some of these guys, because they have significant mindshare in the AI agent and DeFi space, such as Ijaz here, Mark as well, and Ropirito. I think I'm saying that correctly. These guys are always dropping some great alpha and insights into the AI agent and DeFi space on Twitter. So highly recommend you follow these guys, by the way. So if we actually have a look at the advisors and see who's there, we've actually got some of the top guys in the space. And this is what really impressed me about AI Accelerate DAO, is that they've got Ethermage, which is the head honcho at Virtuals Protocol. They've got Jin, who's a partner at AI16Z. They've got Jason, who's a top guy at Story Protocol. Tachi, again, who's the top dog in ARC, with their framework Rig. And they've got Cigar from Abstract, and the list goes on. In terms of investment, they're stacked as well. Coinbase Ventures here, Delphi Digital, Mechanism Capital. Look, I'm not actually trying to, shill Accelerate DAO by any means, but you can't argue with their advisory board. Sammy, Jeff, who we feature regularly on this channel, 2 very, very good influencers and KOLs to follow and to keep up to date on the news. And then, of course, they've got the guys over at Bankless and ThreadGuy as well for some more of a mainstream crypto attention. Now, of course, it's important to say these are advisors. That doesn't mean they're team members. Okay, so the core team are these 3 guys here who also, have great, strong profiles. But in terms of advisors, like I've been advisor in projects with before, I've seen many advisories, and sometimes they are just there by name to support the project rather than actually spending time on the project. So I would be surprised if all of these advisors are spending significant amounts of time. In fact, I know for sure that wouldn't be the case on Accelerate DAO. However, the fact is, and what advisors are for, is that the likes of Mark Ijaz and his colleague can actually just tap into these guys as and when they need them, which for their solid advice, which is obviously a massive it's a massively great thing for projects to do that are building an Accelerate DAO. So anyways, going back to their announcement. So yeah, they announced their roadmap for 2025, and something that was really interesting is that they've actually announced that they are going to build their own open source lightweight agent framework that leverages data in a novel way, laying the groundwork for next generation research and trading agents. So it sounds like the new agent framework is going to be called Nexus. I'm just putting 2 and 2 together here, guys. For the next generation of data-driven agents, they've also got 3 examples of agents that they're planning to build. This is a trader agent, which is an on-chain trader agent native to Hyperliquid. Research analyst agent, which we've seen quite a few of these, agent optimized for deep research and analysis, and the DeFi agent platform, a platform dedicated to decentralized finance agents. So they are planning to build, guys, but the most important thing here is that they actually plan to build their own agent framework, which puts them basically in competitor to the likes of ARC and AI16Z if they're building their own agent framework. Having said that, AI16Z and ARC, Rig, those guys are all on their advisory board. So it would be interesting. I guess they're not setting them up to compete so much with the others, but naturally, if they're offering another framework, then people are going to decide whether to build on ELIZA, OS, or Rig, or potentially on Nexus, depending on what the project is trying to achieve. So yeah, very interesting, guys, that they're actually playing their own framework. Now, if we go down into the accelerator, there's more here about their flagship agent accelerator and how they support the founders, what kind of founders they like to look into. They're going to have demo days. They're going to have tokenomics, advice, GTM strategy, advisor mentorship, etc. To be honest, their advisor board is very, very strong, so fair play to them. And they're looking for engineers, designers, and tinkerers with an obsessive vision and idea. Going down into tokenomics, basically they're talking about their native token. So the native token for Aiccelerate DAO is AICC, and we're going to jump into that in a moment. But for now, they're basically saying that any of the products or tools built by our core team will capture value for AICC and our DAO in the form of fee revenue, buybacks, etc. So what does that mean exactly? Well, basically the teams selected by the accelerator will contribute a percentage of the token supply to the DAO fund in exchange for incubation. So that's good that it accrues value to the native token. The DAO members, by holding AICC, will be able to contribute in impactful ways, such as helping determine teams for incubation, sourcing, and investment opportunities. And of course, not only that, if the products or tools built by our core team will capture value for AICC, then you'd have thought that the open source framework that they just announced, Nexus, will also use the AICC token. Okay, so if we jump over to the chart here, what you can actually see is that AICC, the native token for the DAO, is set here currently around 35 million market cap. Actually, if you think that the core team has got like some of the strongest voices in this AI agent and DeFi space, plus the fact that their advisory board probably won't ever be beaten in terms of the quality of it, and they're launching their own framework, and then you compare that to the likes of the AI16Z token and obviously the ARC token, then there could be possible upside in getting in around this price. If you look, we've been around the similar market cap now for quite some time, pretty much since the end of January, for the last 10 days. Now, of course, there was a ridiculous spike at launch. Sometimes this happens, guys. Lots of excitement there, clearly. But it looks like it may have found a bottom here, and it could, now that they've announced their plans, this could be an interesting one to keep an eye on, certainly. Jumping back again to their announcement, they also spoke about here partnerships. So to ensure that all Aiccelerate builders, core developers, and investors have access to the best possible network and resources to achieve their goals, basically creating a network and hyper accelerating them. So yeah, look, guys, I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out on this. Obviously, set at a $35 million market cap, it'll be interesting to learn more about here Nexus, their agent framework. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on this one. The team is stacked. The advisory board is absolutely stacked. So guys, let's see how Aiccelerate DAO, basically progress over the next couple of weeks and months. We'll be keeping an eye on it in this channel, and we will, as always, will keep you guys informed of their progress. Okay, guys, and our next piece of news is about Story Protocol. Can you guess what their native token is going to be? Yep, you got it. IP. Unsurprisingly, IP, the native token of Storycell 1, has been announced. This is great. Really, really cool to see. So IP will play a critical role in tokenizing the $61 trillion IP asset class. Wow, $61 trillion. Yes, really, really cool to see here, guys. Now, obviously, we saw Jason, which is like the head honcho of Story Protocol, as part of Aiccelerate DAO. It's also just announced his token here. So the thing about Story Protocol is like not only are the massive, Web2 IP holders going to be potentially using Story Protocol to tokenize their IP and provide value creation on that, but the programmable IP that Story Protocol allows is all going to also allow all these AI agents that create their own IP to naturally tap into Story Protocol. So Story Protocol actually sits very well between IP and AI, somewhere in the middle, and it's basically merging these two worlds. And we've already seen that with the likes of Luna, of course, who is the very famous AI agent on Virtuals Protocol, and she's already done deals with an AI agent from Story Protocol, who's an AI IP agent. So yeah, it's a tongue twister, that's for sure, but it's also super cool. It's super cool. It's so interesting to see like how Story Protocol has basically tackled this issue of IP, integrating, being the intersection of AI and IP. And as you can see here, so what they're saying is it opens up a digital market for one of the world's most important assets. IP is at the center of that ecosystem. So here are the things that the IP token actually does. So you can stake IP to secure the network, and there will be staking rewards. You can transact on Story with IP as the gas token, like most blockchains, and you can steward the governance of the IP ecosystem as well, also like most blockchains. And also here, IP is burned with each transaction, which can result in deflation in some conditions. Going further down here, you can see about the staking, and basically for the IP staking, and they've made obviously a keynote with this. Everyone starts earning staking rewards at the exact same time. They've said that on purpose because there's been some projects out there where basically VCs have been able to get staking rewards even before the token is actually launched, the vesting for that. So that's kind of been unfair, obviously, to the public. No one can earn staking rewards before the community does. And they have this thing called the Big Bang, which concludes after the singularity period, which then staking rewards can be received by any party. And there's a list here of the distribution, etc., etc. I'm really bullish on Story Protocol. I love what they're building. I think tokenizing IP and value creation around that is something that is going to unlock huge amounts of liquidity into the market, as well as onboard tons and tons of massive Web2 consumer brands, as well as obviously native Web3 consumer brands. And so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. And then of course AI, the huge amount of AI agents and agent swarms that are coming to on chain over the next couple of years. Like Story Protocol is really well positioned to be at the forefront of this intersection of AI and IP. So look, guys, one to keep an eye on, of course. Let's keep seeing how Story Protocol plan to progress over the coming weeks and months. And if you want to have a check about this story, there is a blog post as well that you can find on their Twitter. All right, guys, now shifting gears to the Base ecosystem. Base recently added a new AI section onto the Base ecosystem website. Now, why on earth wasn't there an AI ecosystem section anyway? I don't know. But anyways, let's go into it. So as we can see here, they've listed around, 12 projects? There's actually a lot more. There's a lot more projects building on Base and AI than 12 here, but these are the ones that we can see. So if you want to jump around and see what's going on in the Base ecosystem, you absolutely should. Of course, they've got Virtual's protocol in there, which is probably bittersweet now for the Base warriors, because they've now obviously bridged over to Solana, as well as obviously they're still working on Base, but a lot of liquidity is going to get sucked into the Solana ecosystem. Venice is also there as well, as we spoke about earlier on the channel today. One of them I wanted to actually highlight was Giza, as they say in England. So as you can see here, so Giza has $559,000 actually assets under agent. There's a new term for you, assets under agent. So why should you care? Well, firstly, it's up 88% in the last 7 days. So therefore, trust is basically being built here for Giza. People are giving their money to the Giza, as they say in London. Yeah, and there's also been like 26,944 autonomous transactions. So anyway, again, why should you care? Well, what is Giza? So Giza is basically the name for this autonomous DeFi strategist, and basically operates on Base, and it simultaneously allows you to get the best possible yield on this platform called ARMA. So if we go to ARMA here, you can actually see the different yields, optimization, protocols and strategies that they're using. So here you can see Fluid is 8.42%, Morpho's got 10.87%, Compound's got around 6%, etc., etc. Now, ARMA is actually being available on Base and on Mode. And so I would recommend we try out these tools, guys, like 100%. Like, I'm not recommending that you throw in your whole bag, obviously. All of this stuff is really new. It's all beta. We've saw the Anon beta also, launch on Friday. But definitely you need to get used to like what's possible in DeFi. Like how is it you actually going to use it? Because then you're going to be in front of 99.9% of the market. So I recommend throwing $50, $100, seeing what kind of returns you get, and gradually over time, as your trust increases, you won't be alone, because you saw that 88% more assets this week has come into ARMA. And so yeah, look, it's an interesting one, guys. Do try and test it out. Test out as many products as you can while you can, because there's a lot of unearthed gems as well. There's a lot of hype on X between some projects, but actually there's some projects that most people might not have heard of. They're set at 10 million market cap, 50 million market cap. And actually, if you try out the tech, they're actually better than the ones that are 100 million plus. Okay, guys, so let's dive into Anon. Obviously, there's been a lot of excitement around their beta release. It actually, was released on Friday, as you guys will know if you watched my video, and there was over 2,200 participants so far that have used the Anon beta platform. So as you can see here, guys, I'm actually logged in here, and you can see you can actually prompt Anon directly here, or you can check out Gemma, which is the DeFi kind of research assistant tool that comes along with Anon. And as you can see here, I'm not doing too well this bear market, because it's 30 cents. I've got 30 cents in my wallet, which is not great. So I can't actually prompt Anon live for you here, but what we can do is show you some of the really cool use cases and other prompt that other users have actually already done. So let's jump over to that. So diving into some of the use cases that we've already seen on the Anon beta. Firstly, you can schedule tasks. So as you can see here, this user creates has said, sell 90% of my ETH on Arbitrum when the ETH price reaches 2,750. Now, he probably wouldn't be alone in terms of selling ETH, considering the terrible price action we've seen in this bull market of ETH. And as you can see here, the Anon protocol set the 90% sell order for ETH on Arbitrum when the price reaches 2,750. I find things like this really useful, because if you have, conviction in terms of when you want to buy, when you want to sell, and you just want to set and forget, obviously Anon's there for you to do that. And it's very easy for all of us to get very greedy in this bull run and just keep moving the goalposts. But here you can set your strategies. Obviously, it doesn't need to be 90%. You could sell 10%, dollar cost average out, whatever you want. But Anon is helping you set that strategy. Yeah, so as we can see here, Mr. Escobar swapped 20 USDC to ETH on Arbitrum using aggregator, and then longed on GMX, 0.01 ETH with a 3x long position. As you can see here, hey, Anon's thinking about it. We'll skip because he said it took about a minute to the end. And yeah, as you can see here, hey, Anon, the swap and trade has been successfully executed on Arbitrum. And here's the different transactions. And as you can see, they've also put a link to the TX ID, which I think is a really nice touch as well for your own tracking. And as you can see, there is the transactions. Now, jumping over to Gemma, your DeFi AI strategist and researcher that's going to help you dive into all the different DeFi protocols and show you what's going on. Here's some practical examples that we found on the Hey Anon Twitter channel. So here was a question that was asked: what was the community sentiment in Algorand's socials and chat in the last 3 days? Give examples. So basically, yeah, Gemma's conducting the research. If we just skip, okay, so as we can see here, she's already provided an analysis of the community sentiment. So this is a general sentiment, the positive, the neutral, obviously the negative as well, any spam and promotional activity that's happened. This is going to be really useful, obviously, for researchers, traders, investors, but also for projects themselves. Usually they would have to hire companies to be able to report on this stuff. And it also gives a conclusion, which I think is really cool. So as you can see here, for this specific one, the Algorand community exhibits a mixture of both optimism and concern. While the technology and its potential applications are seen as strengths, the persistent spam and the need for improved market performance are clear challenges, etc. And obviously, this is really early stage, guys, for Gemma. Another use case here that was highlighted was basically that this Gemma AI was prompted to find the most active members of the hyperliquid Discord and Telegram over the past 2 weeks. So it's pretty cool that Gemma can actually analyze Discord and Telegram to extract data. And that's going to be really important, again, for measuring sentiment and therefore giving you the tools that you need to trade intelligently. And so yeah, as you can see here, who are the most active members of the hyperliquid Telegram and Discord in the past 2 weeks? That was asked to Gemma, and Gemma has pulled up the usernames here of the people who have been most active in the Discord. So this is Shuri 2060, Bitman, Late 9 Coder, and it even tells you exactly like how they've been contributing, what about, and there's also Telegram analysis as well. So obviously, like I said, still very early stage, guys. So this is really interesting to see this come to life, guys. And I think that obviously this is still really early stage. I've only had 2,000 users in their beta, but the feedback they must be getting from the users is obviously very bullish for Hey Anon. It's really important for companies to fail fast, basically put things out there quickly, see what's working, what's not working, what's getting the best customer feedback, what is being broken, fixing it, finding bugs. And so yeah, it's really bullish that Hey Anon have come out with this now. They're not scared, they're not hiding behind marketing videos or closed sourced code. They're out there in the open. So I love to see that. Great to see Daniele building this thing, and we'll obviously be keeping an eye on it on his channel. If you guys want to test it out, you're still able to. There's 6,900 seats in total for the Hey Anon beta. Around 2,200 of those have been used already, so there's still 2/3 or so able to go. So you can just head over to heyanon.ai and try it out for yourself. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today our Monday news update for all things DeFi and AI agents. Guys, please do not forget, if you're enjoying the content, please do like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification, guys. We will be doing videos once again every single day this week, and I will be heading out to Consensus Hong Kong for a fantastic conference which is run by the CoinDesk team. If you guys out there, feel free to drop me a DM on Twitter or here on YouTube, and I'll do my best to meet up with you all. All right, guys, have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.